Now let's set a key value pair in our hash table. So let's bring up the two things we created in the last video, which is our address space, which we created with the constructor, and then our hash method. We're going to call our method setItem. The setItem method is going to use the hash method on the key to create the address, and then it's also going to create this key value pair in a list. And then watch how this key value pair goes into that address space at the value of 4. There's going to be a separate list at the address of 4 that this key value pair goes into. So for now, I'm going to remove this, and let's start building out the method. We're going to call it setItem. We're going to pass it a key and a value. So the first thing we need to do is figure out the address where we're going to store our key value pair. So we're going to have a variable that we call index. We're going to set it equal to self.hash. We're going to pass that method the key. Then it will compute the address. In this case, it will be 4, and that's where we will store our key value pair. So the next thing we have to do is initialize this empty list at that address. And we'll do that like this. We'll say self.datamap at that index, the index of 4. We're going to set that equal to this empty list. This is something that we only want to do if that empty list has not already been created. So we'll create an if statement here above this to say if at that address, if it is equal to none. See, all of the addresses are initialized to none. And if it is none, we need to initialize this with that empty list. Now that we have that empty list created, we can put the key value pair into that empty list. So we'll say self.datamap at that index. Then we're going to do a .append with the list that contains the key and the value. So in this case, the key and the value will be bolts 1400. That goes right in there. So now let's walk through this, putting another key value pair in at the address of 4. So we're going to call the setItem method, pass it the key and the value. We're going to do this to get the index. It will be the index of 4. But this if statement, now at the index of 4, it is not equal to none, which means we are not going to create this empty list because it's already been created. Then the next step is we're going to append that key value pair. In this case, this is going to be washers with a quantity of 50, and that goes right in there. Now let's just add one more. Lumber with a value of 70, so we have something at another index like that. And that is our setItem method. So we'll look at this code in a moment, and we will also create these key value pairs, put them into the hash table, then we will look at the hash table to make sure that everything got put in correctly. So now let's flip over to VS Code. So there is our setItem method there. This creates our hash table, and this puts in the 3 key value pairs that we just looked at. And this will print out our entire hash table to make sure that we have everything put in there correctly. So I'll run this, and there we have bolts and washers at the index of 4, and we have lumber at the index of 6. And that is our method for set.